Have you ever had a painful red bump on your eyelid like this? Maybe you noticed it over time. Maybe it just showed up in the mirror one morning. Well, no worries, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about styes and what you can do about them, as well as a few things you should not do about them. Hello, I'm Dr. Audrey Tai, a board-certified and fellowship-trained refractive and cataract surgeon, an ophthalmologist, and cornea specialist. And today, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know about styes, including what causes them and how to treat them. Okay, so let's start by just really quickly explaining what a stye is. A stye is basically an infection of one of the glands of your eyelid. The stye forms when one of the tiny oil-producing glands, called the meibomian glands or Stye's glands in your eyelash follicle or eyelid skin, becomes blocked or gets infected, forming a painful red bump on the edge of the eyelid. The medical term for a stye is hordeolum. So what are the symptoms you're going to get if you have a stye? Well, as we talked about, it is an infection of an eyelid gland. So if you have a swollen bump on the edge of your eyelid that is red, warm, and tender, or painful to the touch, then you probably have a stye. Sometimes you can get a bump in the eyelid itself, not necessarily right on the edge. That is maybe a little tender, but not super painful, and it can be there for a long time. That is something a little different, called a chalazion. A chalazion is a less painful cyst, maybe a little chronic inflammation of the inside surface of the eyelid, the side facing your eyeball, that also affects the oil-secreting meibomian glands. So if you have a stye, what can you do about it? The first thing you need to do right away is to book an appointment with your eye doctor. Now, why would I tell you to do that when a stye is usually fairly easy to treat and not terribly harmful? Well, the reason is because there are several types of serious infections that can look like a stye at first glance, but are different. For example, if you think you're developing a stye in the middle corner of your eyelid, you could have an infected tear duct called cystitis, which is an infection of the duct and the sac where the tears drain out, and that can be very serious. May need antibiotics, and sometimes can even require a minor surgery or procedure to clear the infection. Or you could have cellulitis of the eyelid called preseptal cellulitis, or you can even develop an orbital cellulitis when an infected eyelid spreads to the whole orbit around the eyeball. Of course, there are other infections and problems that can mimic styes. Those are just a few to give you some idea. And some of these can definitely be more serious and even cause permanent vision loss. So it's definitely a good idea to have your eye doctor take a look first to make sure that you're dealing with a stye. Okay, so if it is just a stye, what are some steps you can do right now to treat it? So styes usually take about 10 to 14 days to get better. But one thing to know is that they tend to get worse for the first few days, maybe the first 4 to 7 days. And then they start to get better day by day as your body's natural immune system starts to take care of the infection. The first thing that I recommend is a hot compress mask. If you provide heat to the eyelids, that promotes better circulation and brings more blood supply, which allows your immune system to do a better job of fighting off the infection. The heat will also open blocked oil glands and help soften any crusts on the eyelashes. So how often do you use it and how long do you use it for? Well, you want to get about 5 to 10 minutes of good heat applied to the eyelid about 3 to 4 times per day. As I recommend my patients to do 3 to 4 sessions of warm compresses daily, starting with one first thing in the morning. I recommend either the Bruder Moist Heat Eye Compress or the Optase Heat Eye Mask for my Blepharitis patients. Both of these masks provide moist heat by absorbing and storing moisture from the air while releasing consistent heat for over 10 minutes. You can generally heat up the eye mask in 800-watt microwave for 20-25 seconds. Just make sure you follow the microwave wattage instructions as they may vary. Place the heated eye mask over a piece of clean tissue to keep the eye mask clean, and place the eye mask over closed eyelids for about 5 to 10 minutes for each session. I've listed the links to the products I recommend in the video description below. You can check them out. If you don't have a heat mask, you can try a washcloth soaked in the hot but not too hot water. This can maybe help a little bit, but it's good because you can use things you already have around the house. But if you have ever tried it, you may have noticed that it cools off like 1 to 2 minutes. and it's not really going to give you good steady heat the way a mask would do. The key to getting the benefit of warm compresses is to apply consistent heat to your eyelids at the target temperature for 5 to 10 minutes continuously. Studies have shown that the optimal temperature for 90% of the maybon oil to melt into its liquid form is between 40 to 41.5 degrees Celsius or 104 to 106.7 degrees Fahrenheit. Using a washcloth soaked with hot water often cannot provide sustained heat at this target temperature. You need to rewarm the washcloth many times. Eye masks specifically designed for use on closed eyelids can offer more consistent and longer lasting heat. The next thing, and this is crucial for preventing styes as well as treating them, is to keep your eyelids and eyelashes properly clean. One of the main causes of styes is blepharitis. Blepharitis is a common eye condition of chronic infection and inflammation of the eyelids. People with blepharitis usually have eyelids that are red, inflamed, and swollen. They may experience itching and a persistent sensation of irritation in and around the eyelids. They may notice some crusty or flaky deposits at the base of the eyelashes, much like dandruff on their scalp. You can also check out this video to learn more about blepharitis causes and treatments. Keeping your eyelids and eyelashes clean is crucial for preventing not only styes, but also all types of eyelid infections, such as blepharitis. The goal of eyelid hygiene is to remove debris, bacteria, and excess oil from the eyelids, as well as to remove the nasty layer of bacterial biofilm on your eyelids. Optase tea tree oil gel contains tea tree oil, sodium hyaluronate, provitamin B5. When using the cleansing gel, you should wash your hands thoroughly. Then put a small amount of gel on clean fingertips. Close your eyes and gently clean and massage the eyelids and eyelashes with the gel. Then gently rinse eyelids and eyelashes with warm water and pat the eyelids dry with a clean towel. Alternatively, you can prepare a small cup of warm water with a few drops of baby shampoo, dip a clean cotton swab or lint-free pads to clean the base of your lashes. Make sure you're gentle to avoid irritating the eyelid, and rinse thoroughly and pat the eyelids dry afterwards. I recommend my patients to perform eyelid hygiene routine once daily for maintenance, and more often if you have an eyelid infection such as blepharitis or a stye, at least twice a day. I also recommend my patients to use hypochlorous acid eyelid spray twice daily for 2 weeks when they're first diagnosed with stye, and then once daily for maintenance. Hypochlorous acid may sound scary, but it's a natural ingredient that already exists in our body. It is created by white blood cells as a defense system against infection and bacteria. Studies have shown that 20 minutes after application of a saline hygiene solution containing hypochlorous acid at 0.01% concentration, subjects experienced a 99% reduction of the Staphylococcus bacteria on their eyelids. Hypochlorous acid eyelid spray can prevent bacterial overgrowth on the eyelid when used long-term. In my clinical practice, I recommend my patients to use Optase Protect Eyelid Cleansing Spray. It contains 0.015% hypochlorous acid, and it is pH neutral and preservative-free. With this concentration, it is gentle and safe to use on the skin, even the sensitive skin on the eyelids. I recommend using the spray after doing eyelid hygiene, cleaning the eyelids, and eyelashes. When using the spray, hold the bottle about 6 to 10 inches from the eyelid, and then spray it onto the closed eyelids. The spray will spread and cover the eyelids, eyelid margins, and surrounding skin. There's no need to rinse or wipe afterwards. You can simply leave the solution on the eyelids and let it dry naturally. Another treatment your doctor may prescribe you is antibiotics. As I mentioned, some styes are infected, and although they don't work great in every case, antibiotics can be a component of a comprehensive treatment plan. If you do have a stye which is actively infected, your ophthalmologist may prescribe an antibiotic. One of the most common to use for infected styes is Mexidrol, which is an ointment that contains neomycin and polymycin antibiotics that works by stopping the growth of bacteria. It also contains dexamethasone, an anti-inflammatory corticosteroid that works by reducing swelling. Now, topical antibiotics like Mexidrol are not always super effective, but may provide some benefit if the stye shows signs of active infection. To apply an eye ointment, first wash your hands, and then make sure not to let the tube touch your hand, eye, or anything else, because you do not want it to get contaminated. Then apply about 1/4 inch of the ointment on the stye. Another treatment option is steroid shots. If what you have is a chalazion and not an active infection, and it is very swollen, your ophthalmologist may give you a steroid shot to reduce the swelling and inflammation. Sometimes the stye can affect your vision or does not go away, and you may need a minor surgery to drain the area. If a stye or chalazion is so large or positioned in such a way that it affects your vision, or it simply does not go away with other methods that we mentioned, you may need to have it drained. The surgery can usually be done in your eye surgeon's office using local anesthesia. If a stye or chalazion keeps coming back time after time, your ophthalmologist may biopsy it. This is where a tiny piece of the tissue is removed and studied. This helps your ophthalmologist check to see if there's a more serious eye problem. So we talked about what to do if you have a stye, but there are also a few things that you should not do. The first one is wearing makeup when you have a stye or chalazion. Bacteria can sometimes grow in makeup, so your cosmetics could be a source of bacteria and potentially infection. And also, if you're putting on your eye makeup and you have an infection on your eyelid, some of the bacteria can get into your clean makeup and contaminate it. Another thing that you should not do if you have a stye or other infection is wearing contact lenses. Anytime you wear contact lenses, you're usually putting yourself at a little bit higher risk for eye infections all the time. And if you have an active infection on your eyelid, wearing contact lenses will place you at a much higher risk for developing infections of the eye itself, including infection of the cornea, the clear windshield of the eye, or the conjunctiva. The conjunctiva is a clear thin membrane that covers the white part of your eye and the inside of your eyelid. And the third thing not to do if you have a stye is do not squeeze or try to pop a stye or chalazion. Doing so could spread bacteria deeper into your eyelid, and you can develop a more serious eyelid infection that can spread to the entire eyelid or even into the orbit, which can be very, very serious. Well, that's it for this video. If you haven't learned anything new, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to my channel to support more informative content on eye health and surgery. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Dr. Audrey Tai to learn more about my practice. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.